I still remember the exact moment the Saturday afternoon exploded. "Stop right there, you thief." The voice cracked across Willow Creek Estates like a rifle shot. I was 55 years old, bone-tired from the drive back from Denver, still wearing the Navy scrubs I'd had on since 4 a.m. Rounds at the veterinary conference. My suitcase sat in the foyer of the cabin-style house I'd inherited from my parents, and all I wanted was milk, bread, and maybe a beer. I pressed the garage remote. The door rumbled upward, revealing my black BMW X7, my one big indulgence after 25 years of stitching up dogs and pulling porcupine quills out of golden retrievers. That was when Elizabeth Hargrove came at me like a linebacker. She dropped her pruning shears in the middle of her immaculate rose bed, sprinted across both lawns in her pressed khaki gardening outfit, and threw herself in front of my SUV as if she were saving a child from a train. One manicured hand slapped the hood, the other already had her phone to her ear. 911. Yes, this is Elizabeth Hargrove at 1427 Sycamore Circle. A man is stealing my brand new BMW right now. Hurry. I stood there with the remote still in my hand, mouth open. My BMW. My garage. My driveway. My name, Michael Reynolds, on every single document inside the glove box. Elizabeth was 58, silver blonde, Pilates toned, and the undisputed queen of the Willow Creek Estates Homeowners Association. For 8 years she had ruled with a velvet-gloved iron fist, finding people for basketball hoops that were a quarter-inch too low, measuring grass blade height with a ruler, sending certified letters about the wrong shade of beige on somebody's shutters. Most folks just paid the fines and kept the peace. I had always nodded politely and stayed under the radar. Until now. By the time officers Ramirez and Chin pulled up, half the cul-de-sac had assembled like it was the 4th of July parade. Mrs. Evelyn Jenkins in her floral housecoat, clutching her Yorkie. Bob Thompson still holding the rake he'd been using on fall leaves. Elizabeth's son Dylan, 16 and mortified, hovering behind his mother like he wanted the earth to swallow him. I handed over registration, insurance card, driver's license, everything pristine. Ramirez ran the VIN. It came back clean, titled to Michael J. Reynolds, 1427 Sycamore Circle, purchased 6 months earlier from Denver BMW. He looked at Elizabeth with the weary patience cops save for neighborhood squabbles. "Ma'am, this is clearly Dr. Reynolds' vehicle." Elizabeth didn't blink. "Forged documents. Professional thieves can do that now. I bought this exact car, black exterior, mocha interior, 22-inch wheels, last week. I have the real paperwork at home." She described my car down to the carbon fiber trim package. Too many details. Way too many. Ramirez closed his notebook. "We're done here. No crime has occurred." As the cruisers pulled away, Elizabeth leaned in so close I could smell her rosewater perfume and the venom underneath it. "This isn't over, Michael. Monday morning the board will hear about criminal activity on your premises. Serious consequences are coming." She said my full name like she'd been practicing it. Monday, 7:31 a.m. The email arrived before my coffee finished brewing. Subject, urgent, formal disciplinary hearing, criminal conduct violation. From Willow Creek Estates, HOA Board, all 5 signatures attached. The letter read like it had been written by a prosecutor on a caffeine bender. I was required to appear Tuesday evening to answer charges that I was harboring stolen property and engaging in conduct detrimental to community safety and property values. My HOA privileges were suspended immediately: pool, gym, tennis courts, even the walking trails. A new security guard in a navy blazer was already posted at the entrance, clipboard in hand. By noon Elizabeth had posted in the private neighborhood Facebook group. The video was shot from her upstairs window, zoomed in on my garage door opening. The angle made a normal Saturday look like a midnight heist. Caption, suspicious activity caught on camera. Police were notified. Please remain vigilant. Neighbors. 243 comments in 3 hours. Some neighbors I'd known for 15 years were suddenly posting prayer hand emojis and stay safe. Tuesday night, the community center conference room felt like a courtroom. Elizabeth sat front row with a 3-inch binder. Board President Susan Fletcher, Elizabeth's doubles partner, ran the show. They demanded I produce proof of legitimate asset origin within 48 hours or face enforcement actions to protect the community. I left that meeting shaking. Not from fear, from fury. This woman had weaponized the HOA into her personal Gestapo. Wednesday I called in sick to the clinic and started diagnosing the real disease. First stop, the bylaws. 63 pages of mind-numbing rules about holiday decorations and mailbox uniformity, but not one word granting the board authority to investigate felonies or freeze accounts over alleged criminal activity. They had invented jurisdiction out of thin air. Second stop, my security cameras. I'd installed them mainly to watch for porch pirates while I traveled. The footage from the previous month turned my stomach. Elizabeth Hargrove had walked past my garage 12 separate times while I was in Denver, slowly, deliberately, peering in windows, photographing my license plate, once even cupping her hands to the glass. Third stop, Denver BMW. The sales manager remembered me, remembered the X7, and, after I described Elizabeth, remembered her. She had taken delivery of an identical black X7 3 days before I bought mine, then returned it, claiming performance issues. She kept every brochure, every spec sheet, every photo the dealership had taken for her online reveal. The puzzle pieces clicked. She hadn't lost a car. She'd created a ghost vehicle. I set my first trap Thursday morning. An email to the entire board, CC Elizabeth. To resolve this quickly, I proposed the complainant provide the VIN of her allegedly stolen BMW so local law enforcement can compare it to mine. A 30-second records check ends the controversy. Within 90 minutes, Susan Fletcher called. Elizabeth refused, citing privacy concerns, and had instead filed a new report with the sheriff claiming I was attempting to intimidate a witness. Friday, the deputies came back with a search warrant. Elizabeth arrived 10 minutes later, triumphant, waving a BMW key fob identical to mine. That's my spare. He must have cloned it when he stole the car. The key even beeped and flashed the lights. The deputies exchanged glances. She produced an email from Denver BMW confirming they'd cut her a replacement key for her stolen vehicle. The email was dated the day before. Convenient. I mentioned offhand that my dash cam recorded every drive. Elizabeth's mask slipped for the first time. How long have you had a dash cam installed? She asked, voice suddenly sharp. A victim would have been thrilled at the prospect of more evidence. A con artist would panic. That night, I found the smoking gun. The garage door company I supposedly hired while I was away. Elizabeth had called them herself, pretending to be my property manager. She met the technician, paid cash for a 2-hour service call on a 10-minute repair, and spent 90 minutes alone in my garage supervising. The tech's body cam, standard for the company, showed her photographing my key fob, my odometer, my interior. She even asked him to program an extra remote for the owner. Saturday, I played my surrender card. I posted publicly, "This has gone too far. To restore peace, I will voluntarily move my BMW to the county impound lot Monday morning until everything is resolved." Elizabeth took the bait like a bass hitting a spinnerbait. She called an emergency community safety celebration for Sunday night, complete with cookies and a PowerPoint titled, "How We Stopped a Crime Ring in Willow Creek." While she basked in applause, I leaked the real dashcam footage, the real purchase docs, the dealership return records. A few neighbors started asking uncomfortable questions in the Facebook thread. Elizabeth went nuclear, new accusations, new witnesses, new doctored photos. Sunday evening, Evelyn Jenkins knocked on my door clutching a manila folder and a lifetime of guilt. "She did this to me 18 months ago," the 81-year-old widow whispered. "Accused me of stealing her Amazon packages. Fined me until I couldn't pay. I almost lost my house. By midnight, I had statements from 9 other families. Same playbook, fabricated violations, frozen privileges, social media shame campaigns, forced sales at fire sale prices. Every home flipped within weeks to investors tied to Elizabeth's daughter and son-in-law. Over 3 years, she had pocketed roughly $1.2 million in profit and siphoned another $400,000 in HOA funds through fake security contracts paid to her son-in-law's company. Monday's emergency meeting was standing room only. Local news trucks parked outside. Elizabeth strode to the projector like a TV prosecutor. "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I present irrefutable proof that Michael Reynolds is the kingpin of a luxury auto theft ring operating right under our noses." The video rolled, grainy footage of me opening my garage, timestamp altered, audio sweetened with creepy music. Gasps rippled through the room. I waited until the cheers started, then stood. "Before we convict anyone, let's look at the metadata on that file." I plugged in my laptop. Side-by-side comparison, her edited clip versus the original. Timestamp forgery. Then the garage door text body cam footage, Elizabeth directing him, holding my key fob to a cloning device, smiling while she did it. Then the bank records. The property transfer chain. 11 victim statements. The room went dead silent. Elizabeth lost it. I had every right to investigate. I spent months planning. She realized what she'd said. Too late. 2 sheriff's deputies who had been quietly sitting in the back row stood up. Handcuffs clicked. Elizabeth Hargrove was let out screaming about lawsuits while neighbors, people who had shunned me a week earlier, applauded. 6 weeks later, I sat in Department 7 of the Hamilton County Courthouse. Judge Emily Carter did not mince words. "Elizabeth Marie Hargrove, you weaponized a homeowners association into a criminal enterprise that destroyed lives for profit. 18 months in state prison, 3 years supervised probation, for $150,000 in restitution, permanent ban from any HOA board in Colorado, real estate license revoked." The gavel fell like the final period on a very long, very ugly sentence. Willow Creek healed faster than anyone expected. New bylaws written by actual attorneys. Every expenditure over $5,000 requires resident vote. An independent auditor reviews the books quarterly. The fake security company was replaced by a reputable firm with no relatives on the payroll. My clinic waiting room has never been fuller. Half the neighborhood brings their pets in just to say thank you. Mrs. Jenkins plants herbs in my backyard every spring. Bob Thompson fires up the grill once a month, and nobody dares complain about the smoke. The Hargrove house sold to a young family with 2 little girls who ride their bikes up and down the sidewalk laughing. Every time I see them, I smile. My BMW still sits in the garage, door wide open on nice days. A quiet reminder that honest men have nothing to hide. So tell me in the comments, have you ever dealt with a power-drunk HOA or a neighbor who thought rules didn't apply to them? Did you fight back? Did you win? Or did injustice roll right over you? Speak up, your story matters. Let's talk about the quiet violence that happens behind manicured lawns and welcome signs, and what it really takes to stand up to it.